Good morning and welcome to another edition of Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks. I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in downtown Brevard, North Carolina, reporting to you from my home here on a glorious Monday morning, which is my habit. So today I thought we would continue with different ways to cast on for a project. Today I wanted to tackle the German twisted cast on, which is a little more challenging, but gives you a nice stretchy edge. It gives you just a little bit more of a stretchier cast on than longtail, which is already pretty durable and stretchy. So it's done 90% of the same way that longtail is. So once you can do longtail, you can try German twisted. There's a few more twists to it though, as the name implies. So I have done my best to try to draw this out so we can map it out. And then we're going to do it with real yarn as usual. And I think the combo hopefully will help you get the hang of it. It's my go-to often, even if I want to do long tail. Right now I'll do German twisted. Might take a little bit more yarn, but it gives it a really nice starting edge. Let's get to it. So the German twisted cast on. As I mentioned in the introduction, it is very similar to a long tail cast on with a twist as the name implies. So here's the biggest difference. There are 3 steps to a long tail cast on. The biggest difference is going to be on the first step. On a long tail cast on, you duck under the front of the loop that's on your finger. I'm going to map that out across the way in a second. And by the way, I have a long tail cast on video. It is the beginning of my series in learning how to knit. Here's the biggest difference. Instead of just ducking under the front loop, which we'll see when I go over the pictures over here, you're going to duck under everything on the thumb and then catch the back of the loop and come forward. I'm going to add a few notes on here and come forward. This is what usually catches people of, wait, what? When they see pictures of it. So we're going to do it many, many times. The second step is the exact same as long tail. You go over the front loop on the finger, on your finger instead of your thumb. And step 3 is same-ish. You have to go out the way you came in is the language I believe I used on the long tail cast on. On the long tail, it's a little more straightforward than on the German twisted. But it's the same idea. You need to duck out the way you came in or things will get tangled. And I have a tip for that. My tip is if you bend your thumb, you've had it out, if you bend it when you're trying to duck back out on your step 3, you will be able to find the hole you need to go through a little easier. And now I say in all my videos, if this doesn't make sense, hang on. We're going to show you a couple of different ways. So let's see what we can do. Here are my attempts to draw out what is happening. Let me tell you, drawing hands is tricky. So I've only done what little bit I need. Here's a fun fact for you. In olden days, we should say, back when portrait painting was the thing of how you would preserve yourself for posterity, you could tell how much money someone has by if their hands were in the painting. And if their hands were in the painting, they had a lot of money because hands are hard. Okay, so I've got my hands here and I want to map out what's going to happen to them for long tail versus German twisted. Okay, so I'm going to color code things as I want to do. Let's make the front strand green. You've got 2 strands, and now whether the tail is on your thumb or your finger does not really matter for this. We just want to make sure we have a lot of extra yarn in the tail so we don't run out. So 1 strand is around your thumb. and one strand goes around your finger. All right, I'm glad the lighter one's in the front because there's more that we're doing with it. So here's the track that your needle is going to take. And the needle has a slip knot on it if we are just starting. So for long tail, step one that the needle does is the needle just comes under your thumb here. So the needle comes around, you come all the way forward, and you go under just the front strand. That is step one. Just the front strand, so it comes out here. Then the needle goes over and around just the front strand on your finger. So you're going to come over and around the front strand on your finger. That is step two. Then for step three, you need to come back out the way you came in. If you came under this front strand, you need to go back out under this front strand. So you come back out this way. That is step three. All right, we're going to redo the long tail cast on because I don't like how it came out. So let's break down the steps by color. So this needle, the first thing we're going to have to do, step one on a long tail, is the needle needs to come all the way around front and under. That's step one. Under just this front strand. That's step one of a long tail cast on. Step two, after it's only ducked under the front strand from the front of what's on your thumb, step two is that it's going to come over just the front strand that's on your finger. So I'm going to draw that like this. That is step two. Over just the front strand that's on your finger. And step three of a long tail cast on is to only come out, go out the way you came in is the language I like to use. So you only ducked under the front strand, so you're going to come back under the front strand. You're going to come back out this way. That is step three. You come back out. Let's make that a little bit brighter, right? Under, strand on your thumb, over and around the front of the strand on your finger, back under the front strand of your thumb. That's long tail. Now, German twisted. This one's a little different. First, let's prep our strands so we can see colors. Let's get the front thumb strand green. And a lot more stuff is going to happen with this front strand. Let's see if it's possible to draw it with any amount of clarity. It's very possible it's not. Or it'll be clear for some, but not for everybody. We're going to try. And then there's the strand that is on your finger. All right, here we go. Step one is the one that is the most different from up here. Up here, we just came all the way under, all the way to the front and under what's on the thumb. Step one on German twisted is got a twist to it. Are you ready for it? For German twisted, we're going to start the same way, we're going to come all the way to the front and under. But you want to keep going under everything all the way out to the back. And then you're going to scoot back to the front. So you're going to come over the back strand. Come over the back strand and back out here. That is all step 1. Don't get dissuaded yet. Watch it with the real yarn when we get to it. Step 2, which was my purple one, is still very much similar. You're going to come up and around the front strand that is on your finger. Now step 3 is getting back out the way you came in. And in essence, you are going back through these steps, but you're going through the center of this. I pause here because it's kind of hard to draw this. It's much easier actually to do it. But you will, in step 3, be untwisting this, and you will be coming back through this hole. And it's much easier than my arrows are about to imply. But it will involve going back under this one, back out over this one. I'm going to write a note here. 3 is easier to show with yarn. And that's one of the reasons that I drew this little guy down here. On your way out, we can try to color code this. Pulling this back out, as if you bend your thumb, this is me trying to draw the bent thumb. If you bend your thumb, you have a much easier access. Instead of doing the whole having to twist and figure out where to go. If on your way in, you do the flippy flop that we have talked about and catch what's on your finger, and then if you bend your thumb, you will find the hole that it needs to duck back under. I know this might look like a plate of spaghetti, but let's watch it in real life, and you'll see how once you get the hang of it, I think it's actually quite easy. Okay, I've started with a slip knot here, and I want to show you all the difference between long tail and German twisted. So I've shown you this on the long tail. Let's show the long tail first, the easier one first. How I get set up for long tail, I'll hang on to this. The needle's in my right hand. Left hand grabs the whole thing. Thumb and finger point towards the sky, and they push in the same way and flip up. And you can kind of hunker your needle down. I have a loop on my thumb and a loop on my finger, and it should look kind of like that drawing. Long tail simply is come all the way to the front, under the front strand on your thumb, around and over the front strand on your finger, and back out the way you came in, which is just duck under that front strand on your thumb. And my tip with long tail is you really only have to tighten the strand on your thumb to keep going. So let's do that a couple more times. Long tail, under the front strand on your thumb, over the front strand on your finger, duck back under. You're going through a hole that the loop on your thumb makes. You're under and out, through, some people like to call it. Again, last time for long tail, under the front strand on your thumb, around the front strand on your finger, and back under the front strand on your thumb or through that hole to come back out. I'm going to put a stitch marker here so we can tell the difference if we want to examine what happens at the bottom. It may not look that different, but let's try the German twisted cast on now, okay? Okay, here's the fun thing. You're going to go under everything on your thumb and catch just the back end and flip up. Now, it's the same as with long tail. Over the front strand on your finger. And now we got to get back through the flippy floppy of this twist. See that? And if you're not sure where to go, if you bend your thumb, take a look at that. If you bend your thumb down, you have a quick and easy exit for what's on the loop from your finger that you want to come out. And then we can do the same thing we did with long tail, where we can just tighten up what's on your thumb. Let's do that a few more times. You're going to go under everything on your thumb and just catch the back loop. Try to show that from a different angle. Just catch the back loop and come up. Now go around the strand that's on your finger, and now it might look like a hot mess, but remember, if you kink your thumb down, I just bent it in towards my palm, I suddenly have an easy way to duck under and come up and out. Here, let's go again. Under everything on my thumb, catch just the back loop and come back up. Wrap around, over and around the front strand on your finger. That's just like long tail. Now we need to go out the way we came in, which is under this twisty part here. But if you need help, bend your thumb, hang on to it, don't lose that loop, then you can clearly just duck under and up. Let's do that again. Long tail would just be this part, but we want a German twisted. Here's what you should do if you lose track of things. Start from the beginning. Grab everything, thumb and finger, go in the center and pull up, and I'm ready to go. These lower fingers are hanging on to everything down here. So under everything, back, catch just the back edge, wrap around what's on your finger, and we want to come under just this back loop, which has been all twisted. I couldn't draw that very well at all. I could have. That's another crazy thing to draw. So bend your thumb, find that hole, duck under and up. I think that bears one more without me having all this filler talk. Under everything on your thumb, catch just the back and pull up. Come around what's on your finger. My thumb is already bent. If it wasn't, it'd be like this. Bend your thumb so you can duck under and up. When you get the hang of this, it's a little more twisted. I think you can see on the front here, it almost looks like a row of pearl bumps here that we don't have over here. There's a little bit more going on. So there's a little bit more give with this side than with this one. Again, let me show you one more time. At least one more. Under everything, under both strands around your thumb, catch over the back of that back strand and pull it up over the front strand on your finger. Figure out how to get out of there. If you need to, twist a little so you can come under and up. Under everything on your thumb, over and catch to pull the back strand back up. Over, simple with your back finger. Bend this if you need to so you can find the hole to come out of. Long tail, German twisted. So what'd you think? I know German twisted can look like a spaghetti mess when anyone's trying to explain it or draw it or do it. But once you get the hang of it, it really does give you a nice stretchy cast on. It's one of my favorites. Anytime something says long tail, I often default to the German twisted. It takes a little bit of time to get the hang of it, but keep that trick of bending your thumb to find the hole that the strand you've picked up from your finger can come through. Take it one step at a time. There's 3 steps, and see what you can do with it. Once you get the hang of it, I think it's kind of fun. And if it's too much of a struggle, that's okay. You can always do long tail. 99% of the time, long tail cast on is just fine. It works well, and when you have the hang of that one, this is just an extra flourish if you want to engage with it. It's really okay. For me, the most important thing is that your crafting is filled with joy and confidence. So give that a shot. Let me know if there are other videos you want to see. Contact me if you want to do either a Zoom lesson, which you can do from anywhere, or if you'd like to do an in-person lesson. We're booked way out in the in-person lessons in front of the shop, but I still want to help you out. We got to figure out what we're going to do when it gets cold outside. Maybe we bundle up with fingerless mittens. However, for right now, we're working really hard to keep everybody safe. So I hope you are safe and healthy. I hope if you haven't already, you consider subscribing and sharing if you think there's other people that would be benefiting from these videos. And I can't stress enough the joy and confidence, because that's how we get through this, and that's how we embrace life. Having fun with this. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I should be upset because he's pawing my knitting, trying to get comfortable. That's, yeah, so not good. But entertaining. Yes?